Imagine walking through an ordinary American neighborhood. You notice two neighbors. One is washing a shiny new BMW parked in the driveway. He's wearing designer sneakers, a luxury watch, and talking loudly on the latest iPhone. Next door, another man quietly loads groceries into an old Toyota Camry. He's wearing a plain hoodie, faded jeans, and sneakers that have clearly seen better days. If you had to guess, who would you say is richer? Most people would choose the BMW owner. But what if I told you the man driving the old Toyota is actually worth over $2 million? Today, we're going to explore why many successful investors choose to look ordinary, and how pretending to be rich might actually be keeping millions of Americans from becoming wealthy. Now meet Ryan. Ryan works in the same industry as Jake, and he earns almost exactly the same salary. But when Ryan gets a raise, he sees it differently. His first thought isn't, how much can I invest? It's, what can I finally afford? A few months later, Ryan has a brand new BMW sitting in his driveway. His apartment is nicer. His clothes are more expensive. And his weekends suddenly involve expensive dinners, shopping trips, and vacations. And here's the dangerous part. None of these purchases feel unreasonable by themselves. The problem is what happens when they all become monthly expenses. Because now Ryan doesn't just have a bigger paycheck. He has a bigger lifestyle to maintain. And this is where Jake and Ryan begin to separate. Not because Jake earns more, but because they give their money different jobs. Jake gets paid, and before he upgrades his lifestyle, he pays his future self. He automatically moves money into investments before he has a chance to spend it. Then he pays his bills. And whatever is left is what he uses to enjoy life. Ryan does almost the opposite. He spends first. Then he pays the bills. And then he looks at what's left. Usually there's not much left to invest. And that's the difference between looking wealthy and actually building wealth. And the crazy part? You probably wouldn't notice the difference by looking at them. Now fast forward 5 years. Jake is still driving a modest car. His clothes still look pretty ordinary. If you passed him on the street, you probably wouldn't think, that guy is wealthy. But behind the scenes, something very different has been happening. For 5 years, he has been consistently investing part of every paycheck. Not because every investment made him rich overnight, but because small amounts kept adding up. Ryan, meanwhile, has a much nicer car, a nicer home, and a lifestyle that looks impressive from the outside. But there's one thing you can't see from the driveway. His lifestyle has grown faster than his wealth. And this is why looking rich and being wealthy are two completely different things. Because wealth isn't always parked in the driveway. Sometimes, it's sitting quietly in an investment account that nobody else knows exists. Here's something many financially successful Americans understand that most people overlook. You don't have to look rich to become wealthy. In fact, sometimes the smartest financial move is to look completely ordinary. Think about it. If you spend every extra dollar trying to prove that you're doing well, you may have less money available to actually become wealthy. That's because every dollar has an opportunity cost. Every dollar you spend today is a dollar that can't be invested for tomorrow. And that's why some people deliberately keep their lifestyle boring. Not because they can't afford more, but because they understand what they're giving up. They'd rather own assets than impress strangers. Because a luxury car can show people what you bought. An investment account can quietly show what you built. So, what's the real cost of trying to look rich? It's not just the money you spend. It's the money that money could have become. Imagine if every raise you received over the next 5 years wasn't immediately turned into a more expensive lifestyle. What if you invested most of that extra money instead? You might still drive the same car. You might still wear simple clothes. But your bank account could look completely different. That's the part people don't see. Because wealth is often invisible. The person driving the oldest car on the street might have the healthiest investment account. And the person driving the most expensive car might simply have the biggest monthly payment. So the next time you get a raise, don't immediately ask, what can I buy now? Ask yourself, what can I build with this? Because looking rich can impress people for a moment. Building wealth can change your life for years. You don't have to look rich to become wealthy. Sometimes, the smartest thing you can do with your money is simply stop trying to prove that you have it.